Hey guys, Namada here. I know the video is long overdue, but I have been busy with schoolwork and such since I'm a nursing student and I have to do nursing stuff. Anyway, I just want to say sorry for the audio and video quality sometimes because they live streamed on Facebook and I don't know if the problem is on my end or theirs, but I was forced to lower the quality of the video so it won't buffer as much. Also, I won't be commenting on each topic since I believe that the developer of the game has elaborated on the topic good enough and the video will probably be too long if I comment on it. Anyway, let's start.
What is the major reason why the minimum adjusted to 20 million daw po, sir?
It's a very general thing actually. So
Yeah.
it's for the economy talaga ng game in the long term. As I've announced this before, for those who are new to Adamant, it's been part of our system talaga that the maximum minimum ever needed to play the game will be 30 million tokens. Not necessarily na it will become 30 million, but that's the maximum that could ever happen. So it could go lower, could go higher than, let's say, higher than 10 million, 5 million, 3 million, whatever, 15 million. Pero lagi siyang within 30 million. So we've announced that many times before. Pero for those who are new, that's the one. But one thing to take note of is that we've already made it official since a few days ago na the the next adjustment, which is the 20 million minimum, will be our final minimum adjustment because once we release our NFTs, it will be the same price. So once we transition to NFT to play, it's gonna be the cheapest NFT will be 20 million at marketplace release.
Alright.
So
Mm.
once we release our initial batch of NFTs, it will be 20 million for the regular Shiba or for what we call it beta Shiba for us.
Possible po ba na bumaba yung gas fee in the future? Yan.
For claim, it can, but not that much anymore. We've already had our smallest gas at 0.016 BNB. That was around it was around late December pala. So what we did there was people were complaining about the gas fee. It was very expensive. We tried our best to see if we can bring it down. Hindi talaga eh. 0.166 was the lowest we went. But we had a poll with our community as an alternative naman. So, ang nangyari, tinaasan pa namin yung gas fee. Why? What was the proposal that we made? So, the team proposed that we would add gas fee since we're already paying a lot of gas fees anyways, diba? Pero, portion of it, or exactly 0.004 BNB, would be sent back to be used for a buyback mechanism of ADMC, which would be sent back to the reward pool as well. And then when we had that poll, we had parang 93% voted in favor of it. Kaya yung gas fee niya naging 0.0196 BNB per claim. So it's not just a claim, it's also may buyback portion rin siya that goes back to the reward pool after buying back at Pancake Swap.
Ayun.
And it's
Right.
actually been successful. We've had that for only 2 weeks and we've bought back over 8 BNB already of Adamant. Considering na 0.004 lang allocated doon, diba? So it's not it's actually it helped, yeah. But yeah, going back to the question, sorry. That's hindi na, yun na yung talaga yung gas fees natin. We really
Alright.
tried our best to bring it down and it's not possible because every time someone claims, we're not just giving you rewards. We're sending you rewards from the reward pool and we're burning reward at the same time and we're also sending rewards to the operations wallet and it's all being done into using a private wallet. So there's so much transactions going on in one single button. It's very different from other games or other systems that other games have. So what that single click has so much transactions, and that's what's causing the gas fees to be so high. Other games don't have that similar mechanism wherein may every time na may claim biglang automatic na nababurn agad, automatic na diretso may pupunta sa wallet mo, then automatic meron din pupunta sa dev wallets for the charity and everything. It's very complicated and it's really what's causing the gas fees to be higher. But I
Tama.
think it's worth it kasi that's another alternative would be is that every time we do something within Adamant, we have to pay gas like other crypto games, which we don't do. In Adamant, you only pay gas when you claim. The whole time you're playing, you don't do anything else, diba? There's no gas to pay. So you can
Yes.
accumulate as much rewards as you want. You could accumulate for 2 months, 3 months, and not claim. You don't have to pay gas ever. All you have to do is that single 500 peso claim in the end.
Yes.
True.
So it's like the price that it's that's the alternative we found that we think is better, and we're not
True.
hungry for claim, or we're not hungry for gas transactions from BSC or anything like that. We prefer that people actually get to save in the long run. It might sound expensive at first, pero in the long run, I assure we're doing our best to keep everyone spending minimal gas for the game.
How
Uh-huh.
does one foundation be part of Adamant's charity?
Okay, regarding the charities, so I think this is one thing that we do very differently compared to everyone else. Um, all of our charities are community based. So again, for those who are new, last we started last October. We had nominations by the community. So the top 10 that are nominated are the ones that move into the voting stages. So if you go to our website, sorry, sabog po ngayon, but yeah, under the charity tab, you'll see the top 10 nominated charities there by the community. So we don't have control over that. It's completely based on the community kung sino yung mga nominate nila. And then throughout the quarter, the most voted will be the ones receiving the allocations for the charity wallet. But then this can still be slightly edited because may mga proposals recently from the community that since lumalaki ang Adamant, maybe we could donate to all top 10, and then yung percentage na lang based on votes ang makukuha nila ng allocation. So we're also considering things like that. But going back, it's community based. We don't have control. It's all up to you guys, the players, the holders, to decide where the money will go. So, yun, based on the top 10. And we have screenings for that. We had 3 month screening for the nominations actually. And to make sure that the top 10 will all be legitimate charities. Hanggang doon lang yung control ng development team. The rest is all, it's up to the community already.
When po i-market ang ADMC International?
We have a lot of marketing set up and plan for international, but then we don't want to do it right away. We're waiting for a lot of updates, including the NFT marketplace and all of that. Because remember, once we go international, mahihirapan na ang players natin from the Philippines. So right now, that there's still uh, it's still a priority to get people in the Philippines. The cost is gonna get so much higher once we go move internationally, and we won't be able to control all those whales coming in once that comes in, right? So before we do that, we want to make sure na everything is set up and ready and to be sustainable already. So yeah. But then we have a lot of it ready already. We've contacted a lot of content creators from international content creators, influencers. We've we've also started preparing our international communities as well in Telegram just yesterday and today and things like that. So we're preparing for it. But regarding
Ayan.
the specific date on when we're gonna be going all out on that, we have no final date yet on that. We want to make sure that the game is ready for all those tractions first before we go push for it.
How will you control the whales from buying too much Shiba? Do you have any plans like putting a minimum purchase per account? Sir Dominic.
Mm, buying too much Shiba. There's no issue with buying too much Shiba. If they buy a lot of Shibas, then they have to buy a lot of Adamant as well. So that's good for everyone. That's not really a problem. Um, some people have concerns that baka daw maubusan sila, which that will not happen. It's we can always release some more other collections for Adamant to be able to play the game if needed already. So these things are controlled naman by us, and it's not gonna be a problem. It would be a good thing actually. We want people to buy more Adamant, right? So it's not that's not an issue.
Is survival mode going to be profitable in the future?
Not directly. So our plans for survival mode will be a PvP energy battle. So not directly profitable, but it will be if you win. So what we have in plans for that is that you will be using up energy to play, and then the winner will get energy. So the energy that was used up to enter it. But then we're not gonna be releasing tokens or rewards directly from survival mode. So it's just gonna be energy that will be able to be used up for normal mode. But none of these are final yet. We're still having to plan that out properly. But that's our vision for it.
Is there any advantage of Shiba, I mean, beside the 300 energy? Because if you compare it to Beta Shiba, which 5 times the price, I think it is not worth it for its price. That's what he said, si Stephen Elvin. Any additional advantage due to its too pricey?
Yeah, no, there's no additional advantage to it aside from its supply. So one thing I've mentioned this also before, that it will be cheaper and more profitable definitely to just buy more Shibas, make multiple accounts. Um, for those who don't know yet, Rainbow Shiba's advantages would be having a 300 energy cap. So the cap is there so that you only have to play once a day. So if you want it to be more convenient for you, then you can go for that. Also, there's a 25% more energy per day, so you'll make 25% more despite 4 times the price. So in terms of earnings per day, if you really want to grind and like earn a lot more, it's still gonna be cheaper and more worth it to use the regular Shiba definitely. But one thing to take note of is that its supply is only gonna be capped at 600, and we're never gonna be releasing more Rainbow Shibas in the future. So we don't know how the markets will react to that, how the community will react to its price in the future based on its scarcity. So that's one thing that maybe we're protecting with the Rainbow Shiba. It's not about its in-game bonuses, but its supply. So there's only that fixed 600 supply. Who knows what value it may have maybe 1 year from now or 6 months from now, when you can't
Okay.
get that anywhere else anymore, or maybe after those, if eventually I'm sure there's going to be some people who might lose their Shibas or something. 600 will go down definitely. So yeah, that's, I think that's the main difference there is. We're not trying to make it match the bonuses of a regular Shiba at all. We also want to include people playing or buying it as a collection, not just because they want to make more money with it in terms of cost to reward. No, kasi one thing that I believe that an NFT game should have, aside from earnings, is that people should also be spending for slower or longer ROI, less profit, but for the satisfaction or for the convenience of the game as well. Without games having people spending for things like that, it will not be sustainable in the long run. So that's also part of our roadmap for our NFTs actually, is to be able to release a lot of NFTs that are purely cosmetic, that doesn't have any in-game bonuses, because people are gonna earn their way. So we want to make sure people are earning, but not always spend more to earn more. So that we don't believe in spend more to earn more here that much. I believe that we have to also spend for other reasons for the game if we want the game to be more sustainable in the long run. And collectibles would be part of that already. And I would believe that Rainbow Shiba would be part of those collectibles that we could say for Adamant for the long-term sustainability of the game.
Wala naman po pang forever na game. Gaano po katagal ang target sa Adamant? After po Adamant, paano transition sa new game? Gana po ba ang ADMC namin?
Adamant's economy kasi, the way the token works, it's non-mintable. It's forever burning. So how do I say it? It's a deflationary token. This is not a common use token in any NFT game actually. I'm not so sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any NFT game right now using a deflationary token, purely deflationary token. Um, so I think for me is that one important thing that we have for Adamant is that the supply only goes down. So the way we try to make it last long or forever basically is by having our manual adjustments. This is why our block rewards are adjusted as the price says go up. So eventually our token supply will be very low. There will be a lot of burning done to the point na konti na lang talaga yung supply ng adamant, and the rewards will be low as well. But with that said, that it should also ideally it should also be adamant having a high price na by that time. So I think it should be sustainable in that sense. Like theoretically sustainable siya in the very very long term. Regarding the game side, if kung if people get like parang sasawa na sa game, sana hindi naman. We'll try to just
Sana.
have updates all the time, try to improve on it. But then no, we have no plans on releasing another game right now. That's not using Adamant. We're keeping the project using ADMC always. So our token will be here forever, hopefully. And if we're gonna be adding new features, new applications, etc., it will be using ADMC pa rin. We're not gonna be changing our token. That will be our main token already. So we can always add projects around Adamant or around the token. We don't have to let go of the project, or we don't have to let go of ADMC just because we're gonna add a new game or something. We could always use ADMC pa rin. When this started, Adamant Mine was not there. It was just ADMC. Then we put in Adamant Mine, and it's still here, right? If we want to add something else in the future to expand or create a new DApp or a new DAO, we can still use ADMC with it as well. We don't have to let go of it. So I don't think that's something we have to be worried about in the long term. If you
Yes.
want to create a different game that's better, or an alternative game from compared to Adamant Mine, what's stopping us from using ADMC? Nothing. We could still use ADMC the same way we're using it now for Adamant Mine.
So most of the investors are aware on rug pull issues, sir. So what makes Adamant safe po from rug pull?
Yeah, that's a lot of wait, sige, let's break it down one by one. Let's start first
Mm.
with our reward pool. So the reward pool is locked in a smart contract. So you guys can check that in BSC scan. That's also a public data. You can check the holders. Number one holder is there is actually our reward pool. So that's locked there. Then no one can transfer out tokens without playing the game. So that's one safe way. Number two would be, well, I guess isang factor na rin is being very public. Our whole team is public. So I guess that could be a big factor as well to for the safety of investors. They have a face to blame. Number
Mm.
three would be our smart contracts. So our smart contracts are all audited. Flying colors, 100% passing, no issues. No issues at all. Zero, even minor ones, none. Um, what else ba? Our liquidity pool. So that's another thing that investors should also look at is would be the liquidity pool of a project. So our liquidity is locked. And one thing to take note of is that our initial liquidity was locked since September, I think, and it's locked until the end of the year. But one thing that people don't normally know is that, as I've mentioned before, is that we also have our manual LP growth. So we're trying to grow our LP manually, and that's part of our operations wallet. And we also just relock that. So as the project grows longer, our LP grows as well. But many projects don't relock that growth, that LP, that growth. Sorry, how do you say this? Like the added LP after. So that's another thing that we also do. So we just actually locked another batch of LP. So as we grow, we're also relocking the LP. So I think that's a big thing that projects should actually do, which many don't. So it's one way of them like hiding their bad intentions. So they're gonna lock their initial LP and then suddenly they'll add more LP tapos they don't lock it anymore, right? So that's another thing that we have in Adamant is relocking the added LPs. Um, yeah, I think that alone is already very safe for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Another thing
True.
you could also check out is the holders of the token. We don't really have a lot of major holders, anyone holding over 10%, 20%, and of the tokens, right? So it's very controlled. Yeah, our even our even our staking contracts are all locked. Everything is very safe.
Hacking issue. How makes your company protected with hackers, Sir Dom?
Yeah, hackers. That's a big concern now. A lot of NFT games are getting hacked. So I guess one important thing is like making sure nga that the reward pool is locked in a smart contract. So I think that should be a safe way to protect ourselves from hackers. Another side is like most of the game files, actually everything is they're stored in AWS. So we're using AWS servers, and uh it's basically unhackable. I don't it's the same ones that Netflix and other giant companies are using. So
Mm-hmm.
our CTO Nico, he's a genius when it comes to the back end side of things,
Mm-hmm.
and he preferred to put everything in off chain. He wanted things to be put into AWS as his specialty as well, kasi and that way, para hindi talaga kami mahack. The worst thing that could happen is individual wallets getting hacked. But aside from that, even our dev wallets are locked in the Trezor. So if mahack pa yan, I'm not sure anymore how we can control that. If there are possible ways, I hope people can come try hack us and tell us what we're doing wrong, diba? And so that we could improve our security. But we've been here for quite a while since we've been live. Their token's been live since August, and we haven't had any kinds of issues like this yet.
Mhm.
So I hope it continues to stay this way, and we're very careful naman regarding that.
Tsaka lahat siguro aabangan kung ano yung mga future updates sa Adamant Mine para mapanatili yung economy and yung kagandahan ng game. Paano nyo po may ensure yun?
So biggest thing that we're having soon is our NFT marketplace. So for those who don't know yet, 96% of all minted NFTs, so like yung Beta Shiba, yung 8,000 na yun, 96% of that is all going straight back to the rewards pool. So that's our way of replenishing the rewards pool. So with that said, that's like 160 billion adamant straight back to the rewards pool, and then we'll be reburning that. So yeah, every time we release NFTs, 96% of it straight back to the rewards pool. 4% would be used for operations as well, maybe liquidity or who knows what we'll need it for. But yeah, that's our best way of making the economy stable for the game, aside from the adjustments that we have to make. But yeah, I guess that's our biggest upcoming update. Regarding the date and when, no final date yet. Hopefully, we'll try before the end of the month. It's actually ready already. We're just finalizing the claim issues and other like websites and all of that. But in the NFT marketplace itself, it's actually ready for deployment. I went live on Twitch, a surprise live on Twitch a few days ago actually, just to show yung mga nagpo-follow sa akin sa Twitch to show them that, oh, I'm gonna show the NFT marketplace for fun tonight. No, nasa mood ko lang that time. Then yeah, it's there. It's fully functional already. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be using for the reward pool replenishment and for the economy of the game. And like mentioned earlier, we'll be releasing a lot of NFTs for cosmetics, for fun, or yung collectibles, not necessarily to earn more, for the long-term sustainability of the project. We're also trying to prepare already a scholarship system for Adamant so that it doesn't have to be trust basis to avoid hacks. So as we all know, the cost of the game is starting to rise exponentially. From last December 25, it was like 800 pesos. From December 21, it was like 200 pesos to play the game. And now I think we're hitting over 20,000 pesos to play the game, right?
Yes.
So it's not as accessible anymore. So that's another thing that we're working on, is to create a safe scholarship system for the game so that it could still become accessible for those naman, for those who can't afford the capital to play anymore. So that's
Oh,
one thing I want to add that we're trying to have for the game. Hopefully by Feb or March we'll have it all fully ready already.
That's about it for the topics that I felt I wanted to put in the video, and I hope the subtitles I put in help you understand the discussion in case you don't understand Filipino language. That was my main concern. See you next time. Bye.